Hi, Krisserin.
Hi, Kelton.
How you doing?
Oh, getting into the spirit.
I'm Krisserin Canary. And I'm Kelton Wright. Follow our quest to publish our first novels.
From first drafts to query letters,
Through inevitable rejection.
and hopefully eventual success.
From California.
Colorado. This is Pen Pals. You look awfully festive. For our listeners, Krisserin is wearing not only a Let It Snow sweater, but green glittering reindeer antlers.
I just saw them as I was walking to the bedroom to get ready to record, and I was like, I'm going to put those on. And Kelton now has a Santa scarf.
Yeah, I have a Santa scarf. It's technically a Santa hat, but it was more important to me to show Krisserin the curtain bangs that I cut for myself.
They look really cute. I noticed them the minute we got
you.
on. Yeah.
I'm also rocking a Delia's catalog hairstyle. If you'll notice, I'm looking very 2001 today.
Very cute.
I'm feeling young. I'm feeling so young.
Which is great because in less than a month, you're going to turn 40.
I can't wait.
20 days.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming for me.
It's coming for you. As time comes for all of us.
Sand through the hourglass.
I hadn't decided if I was going to wear these the whole episode, but maybe I will. I'm kind of feeling it. It fills out the square.
Feeling it. It fills the square. It's really festive. I like it. I'm here for it.
Well, how was your week, Kelton? How did it go?
My goal was to use the first at least half hour of my 3 guaranteed hours to work on the memoir. And I did do that. I finally fully succeeded on a goal.
Yay!
And it was really nice to prioritize that time. I yesterday did do something a little crazy, though. I did do my 30 minutes on the memoir, and then I was just kind of in feedback purgatory on my clients. And so I wrote this Sunday's newsletter, the following Sunday's newsletter, the next Sunday's newsletter, and 2 of the paid newsletters. I just was like in the fever state and was like, I know exactly what I want to say for all of these.
Amazing.
Yeah,
so now
so
you
that means
bought yourself some free time.
Yeah, I bought myself time over the holidays to just work on the memoir. I did do some math. I was looking at the calendar of days of childcare. I have 4 days of childcare from now through January 5th. So that means I have 4 days to do the rest of the memoir proposal. And I like, there's literally no way. Obviously, there's some time in there that, like, Ben and I will be swapping the kid. But a lot of that is going to have to just be client work because there isn't not client work over the holidays.
Really?
I'm freelance. No.
I would think that most offices kind of like shut down around Christmas.
They
and
sort
New
of
Year's.
shut down, but mine don't. I mean, mine has a huge January 1st launch because they're like a really resolution-driven kind of brand. And so there's just an enormous launch happening on the 1st. So there's a lot of things that I'm creating for that. The other one will be less work, but there will still be some work I have to get done. But looking at my calendar and counting how many guaranteed hours I had of work, I was like, okay, we gotta buckle in, baby.
Yeah. Do you feel like the 30 minutes is a sustainable routine for you? Like this is something that you can do ongoing?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, unless someone has some like weird deadline that like pinches that exact point in my day, I don't see why I couldn't maintain this moving forward. So it was a great suggestion. I'm very happy with it. I will be using it moving forward.
Amazing. That's great news. What a great, thing to achieve in our last episode of the year.
Totally. All right, now hit me. Your goals last week were inner child clone short story, grad school application essay, and get your transcripts.
Yeah.
And then for the next one, I'm just remembering this is also a short story, but it was humans disappear from animals' lives.
Oh, I forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me because I forgot about that idea. I do like that idea. I did write some of that story, not this last week, but I think 2 weeks ago. So I didn't do great on my goals this week. I've been taking the time where I'm in limbo, waiting for the book stuff to start to just rest.
That's nice.
Yeah, because
Good.
yeah, it was a pretty intense run of waking up at 5 every morning. It was like 2 months or more, 3 months of doing that. And it's a weird time of year, and with the holiday coming and school winding down and all of that. I did, of all of the things that I had on my list, I did work on my grad school applications. I didn't work on my essay, but I did send all my transcripts, so that's done.
Oh, nice.
And I sent emails to my recommenders, the people who are going to write my letters of recommendation, giving them the details on like how to do that and when to do it by and all of that. I'm getting there. I'm like chipping away at my to-do list. The other things that I have outstanding for that application is I have to have obviously an example of my writing. I have to have an academic essay and also my entrance essay. The good news is that I think the writing sample, I can just pick something that probably part of my book that's been edited to infinitum. And then and then for my academic essay, I did have 2 that I wrote while I was at Harvard. So one of them is on Tommy Orange, who is a graduate of that program. So I could probably pick that one and just make sure it's up to snuff. And then I just really only have my essay. So it's not this like Herculean effort to get my application together, which is good news. And I do have until February 1st. So I do have some time.
Oh, good.
And yeah, I've been, listening to you talk about how you just like banged out all those essays. I'm like, man, because I've been writing Substack essays now, and I'm getting ready to publish my like 4th on Saturday. And it's such a different type of writing. It's really scratching a different part of my brain. And I wanted to say to you, now that I've been on Substack for a little bit and read a bunch of Substacks, what you do on Substack, I think, is different than the content that I've consumed on Substack and the content that I feel like I'm writing on Substack, which for me is they're not really essays. They're kind of blog posts. Like, I've had blogs in the past, and a lot of it is me just talking about something that was interesting or updates in my life. But you write essays. You write lyrical, beautiful pieces of writing, and it's very unique in my opinion to what I see on that platform. And maybe I'm just following the wrong people. Actually, I read Emily Hallin's most recent Substack was beautifully written and poetic and lyrical. But I just wanted to commend you because I feel like you do write such beautiful essays, and you write so many of them. It's what an effort, what an accomplishment. So you should feel really good. I'm sure you already do, but I'm giving you more kudos. You should feel really good about your Substack.
I wish the people yearned for essays the way they yearned for blog posts. They just don't. But we carry on. I will say that my Wednesday editions, the ones behind the paywall, are more like blog posts most of the time. Mm-hmm. That is sort of the balance I strike, is that like the Sunday is like lyrical essay work and the Wednesday is more bloggy. But yeah, it's an interesting ecosystem on Substack, and I think that, I obviously had my days on Blogspot and Zanga and Tumblr.
I had a Zanga. I had a live journal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, live journal, of course. We've tried them all. And
Blogger.
Oh my God, Blogger.
I had a Blogger.
There were so many. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mix. I'm happy that stuff is done, because not only do I have clients and memoir for these 4 remaining days of the year that I get to work, but I have the class for winter.
You do have the
by
class
the time
for winter.
This comes out, early bird pricing will be available. So head to keltonwright.com/rewilding if you're ready to root in the dark for your winter.
Root in the dark. I love it. How is the winter over there? I've seen some pretty beautiful. It was 84 degrees here yesterday, so please tell me.
Oh my gosh.
How beautiful is Colorado right now?
I mean, it's getting there. We, in this specific region, even though I live really high, I live really far south in Colorado. And so we are just outside of the desert. So we have some interesting weather patterns up in the mountains. So we've had some snow, and you can go skiing, but it's not winter yet. You can still see some dirt on the road. I'm having my couch that I bought in September delivered next week. And they called me and they were like, so tell me about how we get to your house. And I was like, well, are you ready for a tale? It's very like, put your chains on. We're putting our snow tires on this week. I mean, it is starting to be really beautiful. Unreasonably warm this week, high 30s, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get snowed in. I'm ready. Avalanche me in, baby. Lock me into this town. I'm ready.
This episode, we were really going to talk about our year in review. We started this podcast at the beginning of this year. I know we're in season 2, but we started season 1 in January of 2025.
Are you shitting me? You said this to me last week, and I got off the call and was like, that can't be true.
It is true. This is our 32nd episode.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite an accomplishment. That's over 32 hours of us yapping at each other. Who knew? We had so much to talk about.
We did, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
We had some faith in ourselves. I'm amazed. It feels like we've been doing this for several years. But really I do feel good about the numbers, knowing this is our very first year of podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The thing that I get excited about is just the fact that we are consistently getting people writing into us. And actually, yesterday, someone on Substack wrote an essay and tagged us in it, talking about our interview with Olivia. And
Megumi.
Yes.
I hope I'm not saying that wrong.
Yes, I think so. I think you're correct. And just having people talk about our episodes and the things that we're talking about is so thrilling, you know?
Oh, she also made me really reflect on how I've been portraying my life. Which is like, and I told her in the comments, I was like, I feel so comfortable with Krisserin that I can complain, and you can see through the facade that like there's still enjoyment and nice things in my life. But when I was reading her piece, The Hesitant Woman, she was comparing Olivia's kind of bucolic almost experience of writing, where it's like slow and romantic, and there's like candles in her beautifully renovated old home with books and post-it notes strewn about, just a writer in her element. And as I was reading this piece, I was just sitting at my desk with a candle burning, with my beautiful cup of decaf coffee and my favorite Yeti mug. No one was here. I have a view of the mountains. And I was like, I get that. I just have to schedule it. Mm-hmm. I just can't choose when it happens. That's the only difference. And it's like, I do only have 9 hours a week where I could choose for that to happen. But I still get it. And oh my God, I have to tell you this. I have to tell everyone this. Last night, Woods had some trouble in the beginning of the night, but then he slept from 10:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. And when he stirred at 5:30 and I woke up, I knew immediately. I was like, I slept for 7 hours, and it was incredible. And you know what we did before that? We went out on the town and I ate all of the foods that I had cut out of my diet because I was like, this isn't fucking working. So I ate cheese and I ate tomatoes and I ate garlic, and then he slept through the night. And I was like, I don't understand what is happening, but I will take it. I will take it.
I just had this vision of you last week when you were talking about how you're just like a cheese hog. It was just like sitting in front of the fridge, like, like a block of cheese. But I'm so glad. You know what's so funny is I had the worst sleep of my life on Monday, where I took some Sudafed because my sinuses have been all blocked up, and I took it right before bed, which I should have known better than to do that. But I couldn't breathe, so like Pick one, you know? And I woke up so many times in the middle of the night and had light sleep, and literally my watch was like, your sleep score is shit. It was really bad. And I was like, this is what Kelton feels like all the time.
Yeah, Ben the other day was like, I actually am starting to not understand how you're doing things with how little sleep you have. And I was like, I think it's just like I'm like drunk. I'm drunk on a lack of sleep. And I'm sure one day it'll catch up. Yeah. But not today. Yeah. It's just surfacing in moments in the bathroom where I'm like, I'm going to cut my hair. You know, that decision happened, from me having the idea to cutting my hair was a span of 15 seconds.
I love it. A girl who knows what she wants.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra. Do you know how long I would agonize over that choice? I will say, because the question that Megumi posed in her blog was like, can you not have Olivia's life and that kind of romantic writing life or fulfilling writing life if you are a parent? And we've talked about this quite a few times, and it is true. And like any close girlfriend, when you get together, you're not going to say, I love my husband. He's the best. Like, he supports me. He is such a good partner. My life, like, I'm so grateful. No, you're not. I'm grateful for my children. No, you're gonna bitch about the things that you can't bitch about with your family or your partner.
Yeah, this is not an NPR podcast.
This is the safe space for us to talk about how we really feel, and we're letting you guys in on that. So to be, I don't want to discourage people and have them think that you can't have a writing life if you're a parent, but it does make things different. It's going to change fundamentally the way that your life is structured, and you have to fight for the time to write. And that's why I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have my own little ritual in the dark, and it's my special time. But you can't go to sleep at midnight reading your favorite book, which is my favorite thing to do, and then just wake up whenever you want the next morning with the birds chirping, and then have your coffee and sit down and write for as long as you want. I mean, I feel like I will have that. I'll just be like 60 when it happens, you know?
You know what
which
I
is
have,
fine.
though, instead that I did not have before is material. I also have a completely different understanding of time, not as a person moving through an individual day, but like generational time. I understand in a completely different way now. I do not feel like parenting is a universal experience, in that a lot of things people have said to me have not resonated at all, and I have not felt. But you will experience things in such a novel way that there is so much more material. So if that entices you, that's not a good reason to have a child. But if you're a writer afraid of having a child, let me tell you, you're going to have some ideas. They might just be like a year and a half out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all go through seasons in our life, and it doesn't have to be having children. It could be for health things or whatever. You don't know what life is going to throw at you, and you navigate them and you figure them out. I think if being a parent is something that you want, then you should do that, you know, and just I think like the thing that I always try and impress upon people is that we were taught 10 years ago that you could do everything and you could have it all and you could make it work, but that path leads to ruin. That setting an expectation of yourself that you're a superwoman and you can do everything no matter what, with no help or whatever, is just very difficult. And there are people out there who can do it, but I think we've entered an age where we understand that you can exhaust yourself and make yourself sick if you try and do that. So it's just about acknowledging the season of life that you're in and the limitations that you have, and being gentle with yourself. And sometimes you can, sit down and write 3,000 words, and sometimes you're not going to get to sit down at all, and that's okay. And you just
maybe you can just move to a different country where there's an entirely different care system, where you are afforded some luxuries that we as Americans are not.
I mean, I'm very lucky to have my in-laws living in my house, which has its pros and cons, but for the most part, they're very helpful, and it's been a very different experience for me to have family in the house. I mean, compared to my friends. I grew up with my grandmother in my house, so that was very normal for me to live in a multi-generational household. But yeah, it's different for everyone, and I hope if Mogumi's listening, and I hope she is listening, don't listen to us bitch and think that the life that you want is not within your reach just because our experiences, because we're also like, we're being, we're making it seem probably worse than it is on the day to day, because there is so much joy in it too. Yeah. You get a lot out of it. So
husbands, though, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was looking at our episode, our Very Well Organized, because Kelton is Very Well Organized episode tracker of our show. I don't know if you've looked at any of that old content. You were working on your novel. You were trying to write 2,500 words in a week of your novel. And I was reworking the first chapter of, I think, my Gustafsson novel. And here we are at the end of the year, and I have completely abandoned that novel. And
as have I.
and finished my second book in the duology that I was working on. And you've started a memoir.
Yeah, and that memoir proposal is in like pretty good shape. I was listening to an agent interview the other day, and when people ask you the same question over and over and over again, and it just takes the right phrasing for it to finally snap into place in your brain. She said that in your memoir proposal, you need to include, here's why someone who doesn't know me would want to read this. And her phrasing of that just sank right into the pit of my stomach. And I immediately went to my memoir doc and wrote that at the top of it as the positioning that I needed to kind of really drive it home. I think I'd mentioned last week that I'd gotten kind of caught up in some of the research elements. I think I have to include some of the research elements in the book. I think it's like calling my name. I don't like doing it, but I think it strengthens the book. And I think that that's why someone who doesn't know me would want to read it, because it is such an exploration of finding home, the search for home. And so I've really come a long way, but I keep reaching these forks where I'm like, oh, I thought this, I guess false summits, I'll call them. I keep reaching these false summits where I'm like, I've made it. This is what I'm working on. And then I get to the false summit and I'm like, oh, there's more. There's more up there. Oh, there's more up there. There's more. And as I was writing against that question the other day, I had to kind of just step back and be like, maybe the memoir proposal is done at the end of January and not at the end of December. And that part of what I am doing in January in tandem with dialing it in is making that agent list. Because the more I have opened myself to being curious about agents, the more I see how much work it is and how tactical it is. That particular agent who said that quote, I want to query her. But when I went and looked at her query guidelines, she works for an agency where you don't get to query her. You send it to a general submission pile with her name in the subject line, and you don't send the proposal. You only send a query letter. And so there's all these specific instructions for every single agent. And I think that is part of why it's you need to have your top 15 and then think about the work that goes into querying to each of those people and look them up on social media and see how they're operating in the world, because this person's supposed to be your advocate, your person, And I don't just want I want an agent, I think, is the most important thing, but I don't want one that doesn't like me. Well, doesn't operate in my vein. But there's a possibility that they read the proposal, the query letter, and they're like, I can sell this. And then they're like, yeah, sure. I'll talk to you when I need to talk to you. And you're like, sure. I thought you were going to be my guardian agent.
It's interesting that you say that because I was on Instagram and there's a new account that is showing up in my feed about different agents that are open for querying and their guidelines and the things that they're interested in. And one of them was memoir. So I was looking at it for you. And a couple of them were like, I love memoirs that include really well-researched nonfiction. I was like, that's not for Kelton. But I think it could be. And then the other thing is that when we first started talking about the idea of you writing a memoir, the idea of finding home was one that really resonated with me and one that I feel like is a very natural path for you to take. Is that, whereas the memoir proposal that I read wasn't exactly that. Not exactly that, but is that where you've landed now?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to tell because it's like, you know, the change in tacks that I've taken in the course of this, it's like I'm still sailing south, you know? And it's like I'm making these micro adjustments, and the thing is with sailing, it's like you make a micro adjustment, you're going to end up in a totally different country. You know, I'm so far out from that finish line that I just don't really know yet. And to me, the thesis feels like the search for home and the conditions that make a place feel like home. And that is the through line. But how exactly I get there is still up for debate. So it's like every time I outline a new chapter, I'm like, well, we could go this way.
Yeah.
So, and I do want an agent and hopefully an editor to help me shape that narrative and like think about what is like market viable. Like, I'm not writing a book to not sell it.
Right. Of course. I do, when I think about your story, having, you know, started in Ohio and gone to New York and Los Angeles and on a boat in the Caribbean and then finally to Colorado. I guess this is the second time you've lived in Colorado, right?
That's not even all the places I've lived.
Yeah.
There's like 5 others.
Yeah. I just think that there is such an interesting through line there also, and finding home is very relatable. But then the way that you talk about what makes a home is very, I think, applicable to people's lives. So I feel like the proposal that I read, there was the one line that stood out that I was like, yes, this is the meat of the story. And everything else was like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm gonna, living in Los Angeles, feel about this material, because I'm, of course, just thinking about myself. But the search for home feels broadly universal, feels broadly applicable. So
yeah,
that's
and obviously
exciting.
it's told through my experiences of where I've lived and how I've what I felt there and what I was looking for. But I am thinking about my book in like a book club way, where it's like, if 5 friends read this book, how would they talk about it? And I don't want them to talk about, I never want to chop wood in my life. I want them to be like, do I feel useful in the place that I live now? Could I feel more useful somewhere else? Or those, whatever the condition of growth is that they attach to, I want to provoke those questions so that people can take a deeper look at their lives and think about, do I live here because this is just where I ended up? Or do I live here because this feels like home?
That's really interesting, because you were talking about a construct of home that exists outside of the physical structure that you're living in, where I feel like a lot of us are kind of locked into a physical structure that we're living in, and it could be anywhere, really. So I think I'm excited. I feel like that's really an incredible jumping off point, and I'm glad that you're giving yourself a little bit more time to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed opinions about that, but I also have a toddler, so whatever, we'll get it done. I'll query in the first part of the year, and everyone will cheer.
Everyone will cheer. Everyone will cheer. The thing that I totally understand and relate to you wanting to do all of this research for these agents that you're considering. I will say that I had a very similar experience to Ellie Gordon, which is you find your top agents, and then you start romanticizing them in your brain because you're like, oh, this person loves this book. I love this book. She would be perfect for my story. And like, oh, we have the same background or whatever it is. And then you get a form rejection and you just want to like, to use Allie's words, jump off a building. So I would say, yes, do all of that research, but don't go too far down the rabbit hole with these 15 people.
No, I think in the end, it's like, I'm still a Capricorn. It's like, as soon as someone doesn't like me, I move on.
That's good.
Like, I don't attach to that. I'm like, oh, we saved each other some time.
That's even if you even get to that stage and you don't just get a form rejection. That's like...
Totally.
Thank you.
I honestly feel like a form rejection is more up my alley than a personalized rejection.
Yeah.
But, the goal will just be to get one.
Yeah.
So.
I just think about, like, that one agent who requested 3 pages. I should have known then. And then said that it was too exposition heavy. I was like... But then that's also the agent that got into the scandal because she had read someone else's submission and it was like, I really want someone to write this book but this way. And everyone just tore her apart. She got canceled online for that. And then, or the other agent that wanted you to create a Spotify playlist for your book. So here I am sitting fucking making a Spotify playlist and then it's like, thanks but no thanks. Cool. I just wasted an hour doing something that was completely tangential to my book.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is like a list of requirements where you got to be like,
red flag. Red flag.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would love to make a playlist for my book. I have one for the novel, but I do not have one for the memoir. I feel like that's harder.
Would it be like a playlist of your life or something,
Yeah, I'm like...
The songs you were listening to when you lived in those different places?
I'm like, here's all the songs I listened to when I was on cocaine, okay? Are we happy about this chapter?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Here's Avicii levels.
Oh, no.
Days of yore.
Days of yore. Days of yore. What? So you're turning 40.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it all?
I love it. I love 40. One of the pieces I wrote in my fever dream yesterday was a reflection piece on turning 40. And it was 6 things I will not be caught dead doing in my 40s. And, it's interesting because I don't know if it's cultural influence or if it's authentic, but for your entire 30s and your 20s, people are like, oh, once you turn 40, you don't give a fuck. And, like, that's the narrative. Like, leading up to that point has been, at least for, like, the decades that I've lived in. And I haven't given a fuck about a lot of things for a long time. But I do feel, like I'm fully embodied, in who I am and very comfortable in who I am. There are some things that going into 40, I'm like, we're not doing that ever. We're not doing that ever. Mm-hmm. So I feel good. It also have like relieved some of the pressure of being like, like a sparkling young star. Mm-hmm. Like the 30 under 30. Yeah. Like it's so gone. Like you just don't have to worry about it. Cause like once you turn 40, it's like no one says your age when you publish your debut novel. No one's like, she published her debut novel at 41. Like that's I think they do it
if you're like 70.
Yeah, you have to wait until you're much older. But from 40 to like 65, the number is no longer there. Nobody cares. You're just a writer. Mm-hmm. It's not like 27-year-old publishes incredible book of essays. And you're like, okay. All right,
about what?
Easy does it.
I remember I had said something to that effect to my teacher, Mark Sarvis, that I wanted to be on one of those lists. And he just like rolled his eyes at me. He didn't say anything. He was just like, okay, Krisserin. Not that I couldn't do it, just like it's such a hollow achievement.
Yeah.
So,
And I think what I really want is like for people to read the book. It's not that I wanted to achieve success at an age. I just wanted the publicity that came with those lists. You know? So I think there's other ways to achieve that. And I feel relieved to shake that shackle.
Shake the shackle.
Shake that shackle.
Well, I'm excited for you. I feel personally like 40 is a very self-assured year. To your point, I think you just know who you are more than anything else. And there is something about releasing the fixation of wanting to appear young or be young or whatever that is there's less pressure, I think, after you turn 40. I'm liking it. I'm 41. I feel great. I feel like the healthiest I've ever been.
I don't feel pressure to look young, but I do feel the desire to look hot.
Interesting.
I looked really hot the other day, and I could just like tell that the barista agreed. I could just feel it emanating off him, like in a like a flashback to being 29 years old. I could feel that he was looking at me that way, and I was like, "Yes, fuck yeah!" I got a baby in my arms.
MILF. You've graduated to MILF status.
MILF, I'd like to. It's like, Mom, I'd like to give free coffee to.
Did you get a free coffee?
I did get a free cup of milk for the toddler.
Okay. A win is a win, you know?
A win is a win.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, I definitely feel like that is hard to shake. That like desire to feel attractive to other people is definitely hard to let go of. I saw a woman in Trader Joe's like a month ago, and she was so fucking hot. Like, I was turned on. She had to have been in her mid-50s, and she just had like a cute, like a very small tank top and these like high-waisted wide leg jeans, and was tatted, but she had this beautiful head of bouncy gray curls and red lipstick. And I just went up to her and I was like, "Your hair is fucking magnificent." And she was like, "Thanks." But she knew it. She knew it. And I was like, that's what I want.
That's what I channel.
50s. Yeah. 100%.
That's what I'm channeling. I think it's, coming off of like the postpartum thing, to like re-enter like who you see yourself as. Mm-hmm. It's just so satisfying. Mm-hmm. And like to be like wearing clothes the way I want to wear them and not just like a spit up rag on my shoulder,
I do know.
You know.
I do know. It was a long time ago, but I remember. I distinctly remember. Those
so
were the
what's
days.
Happening in 2026 for us, Krisserin?
God, I don't know.
You're gonna
you mean like ideally what is happening in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, we're not there yet. Let's talk ideals.
Ideals. Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about this in the past where I am so maybe protective of myself and my heart, but also in fantasy land with the book, that I'm like, if it happens, that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't even have, it's like not registered as a realistic possibility for me in my brain.
Yeah.
It hasn't. I'm kind of putting a wall up between me and that future potential. But I do know that I'm going to apply for this grad program. Good. So and hopefully will be accepted. I don't want to like assume that is going to happen. But if I do get accepted, I think I wouldn't even start that program until July.
Okay.
But my plan for that program, my hope is that I will use my time there to work on my Gustafson novel. I think that would be a good use of my studies, etc. Beyond that, I guess I'm just not a great manifester of things because I'm not thinking about it yet. I know. What about you? I'm sure you have it. You have it all planned out.
I have a manifestation app. I've mapped my year astrologically.
Jeez. Let's hear it.
I have a document called Kelton's Year of 40 that like maps out the accomplishments I want to achieve and like the trips I want to take and like how I want to feel day to day, the things I want to say yes to, the things I want to say no to, and like income I want to hit. I mean, going into the year, I'm going to be polishing the proposal and beginning to query. The Rewilding winter practice starts February 4th, and so I'll be selling that now through January. My hope is to sometime, hopefully early next year, like find a business partner to work with me on that. I really want to turn that into something bigger, and I am manifesting that partner. I have a JD loosely written about it, about like the kind of woman I'm looking for to partner with. I have like a very specific vision of who she is. I am so inclined with my work to go out on an island and do it by myself. And I'm really trying to incorporate more people into my life next year and like trust people and share the burden and like build something with someone. So that is huge on my list. I am launching something in the spring called the Murmuration, which is a monthly seasonal influenced writing group. So I'm getting together all the assets for that. I gotta like build the website and like figure out all the Zoom and that kind of stuff. Like I have a logo. So like there's things moving. I think I'm trying to just be like the novel is tabled, because the right thing to happen is to query successfully the memoir and then get a book deal and have to write it. So like I'm like the novel's waiting until that is done. I'd like to keep the 2 clients that I have. I really like working for them, and they've provided great like stability in this household. And I want to go a big trip. I want to do an international trip next year with the child. So I think it's going to be a good year. And I got to really think through when I do things and how I do them. It's got to be like a scheduled year. Now that we know exactly when daycare is and those sorts of things, and it's just a matter of like sitting down and doing it.
Yeah. I think also as Wiz gets older, things get easier. Like the more self-sufficient he is, it's going to get a little bit less difficult.
I'll wean next year. He'll be weaned at some point next year. At some point. I'm not saying it won't be like a year from now, but but he will be weaned.
He will be weaned.
Yeah. He will be weaned.
I love it.
Sorry, Adam Levine.
Yeah. That's exciting. I feel like maybe I need to go sit down and start writing some plans for the year. I have my personal budget mapped out for the year. I have my job. By the way, someone on TikTok called it their survival job, which I love. I have my survival job planned out for the whole year. It has been since August, but I haven't thought about like my personal life and my writing life and what that looks like. I think, the plan is to go on a trip in the summer, maybe. I always go up to Portland for a couple of weeks to visit my mom. I've got like the kids' summer camps planned. Like everything else is figured out. I just haven't figured myself out. So maybe that'll be, by the time we talk next year,
yeah,
I will have some plans. I'll have some goals. I'll have some resolutions. I'll have thought about it. But right now I'm feeling like there's a cliff in my head. I got to get to the end of December, and then maybe I'll free up some bandwidth in my brain to think about 2026.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of manifesting, a lot of working on my inner child, just like trying to figure out what my blocks are and my limiting beliefs, and doing rituals around them. And like, I'm really doing a lot of like tender self-care rituals right now to get me like geared up. And I am feeling the momentum both. I mean, obviously, I did so much writing this week already, so I'm feeling like a little bit of an unlock which is good because I have been in such a funk and the doldrums for like a couple months, and I knew that that was an ebb to the flow. But, you know, when you're waiting for the ebb to end, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I'm in this like weird waiting space. So I'm trying to let my brain rest a little bit and see if I can breathe some creativity back into it, because I feel maybe I just need this end of year to rest a bit and start the new year fresh and figure out what that looks like. But it's been quite a year. I feel like in part because of this podcast, I've gotten so much writing done.
Yeah.
So much work done this year in 2025. It was
And you
quite
got
the
an
productive
agent.
year. And I got an agent. And hopefully next year I'll get a book deal.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I mean, my goals have not changed. You know, I am hoping that I'll be accepted to this MFA program, and it'll be a good step toward me meeting my goal of being able to eventually teach, which is what I do want to do, and have a retreat, a pen pals retreat, a pen pals workshop. I think that would be really fun.
We want to do pen pals workshops. We want to do pen pals retreats, but the reality is we need more people to know about the podcast. So listen, listeners. If you like this podcast and you know someone who works on art, I don't think they have to be a writer. I think it's like writing helps, but like any kind of artist who has a survival job or a child, like send them this podcast and be like, I love this. I like this. This is fine. You should listen.
I give it 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars.
3.5 stars out of 5.
Because we're going to keep doing this, but it definitely helps to have more than like 500 listeners.
Yeah. My sincerest hope for this podcast is that people go out and find their accountability buddies and people who help them along in their writing and creative lives. And if you have done that because of Pen Pals, or you just did it even before Pen Pals, I would love to send us some pictures of you and your accountability buddies. I want to know. I want to hear about it.
This is how you can tell that Krisserin is a Libra and I'm a Capricorn, because that is her sincerest hope for this. And mine is that Krisserin and I both become best-selling authors and people go back and listen to the whole catalog of this, and we just have a great, successful podcast on the side.
I'm trying to put the commercial and business success as a nice to have. I know Kelton's like, why the fuck are we doing this? If that is not the goal. And I'm like, I've got so much writing done and other people write to us. I'm so happy.
I'm like, I'm on a writing podcast manifesting a business partner.
That's all, if anything, like that is Kelton and I to a T. Now you know us. Well, Kelton, I'm not going to see you until January.
Yeah, you're not going to see me until I'm 40.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your birthday and your manifesting and your class and your business partner. And I hope you have a great holiday and more restful nights in your future.
Thank you.
Eat more cheese. I think that's what we've learned.
That's what we've learned. Eat cheese, eat tomatoes,
garlic.
You know, trust my Sicilian roots to nurture my child.
There you go. Maybe you need to lean more into that. More garlic. More tomato sauce.
More tomatoes. More onions. I'm in. I'm in. All right. You guys know where to find us, and please do find us at penpalspod on all the platforms. You can email us at officialpenpalspod@gmail.com. We would love to hear even just your rants. Tell us what your issues are with writing. Ask for advice. We might give you some really strange advice. We've got a lot of episodes coming up with some really great interviews in the new year. Follow Krisserin on Substack. Krisserin, what is your Substack?
It's Krisserin.substack.com. I also, by the way, I got a DM from a follower on Instagram that was like, I vote for keep your Substack name your name. Don't come up with a different name. And I was like, wow, people are really listening to this podcast.
People are listening. People are listening. You can read my writing over at shangrilogs.substack.com. You can also follow me at Kelton Writes, though by the time this episode comes out, I might have a new Instagram.
I was looking like it's 4 days away from the 15th.
I mean, that is the plan. I just have to get the content in a row. You know what? Let's just go ahead. Follow me at Keltonkin on Instagram.
Keltonkin. Spell it.
Keltonkin. Like bumpkin. Keltonkin.
Keltonkin.
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
Like bumpkin, not like Tolkien. One last pitch.
Oh.
Sign up for the Rewilding winter practice. KeltonWright.com/rewilding.
And read all of the testimonials. People seem to love it.
People love it. It's witchy. It's magical. It's meditation. It's neuroscience. It's cool. It's funky.
It's a great way to start the new year. Grab your friend. Sign up.
Grab a friend. Sign up. Early bird pricing through January 10th.
Everyone out there, thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a very happy holidays, a happy new year, and happy writing.
And happy writing.